Today I want to discuss forms of guilt, and how it leads to the path of forgiveness. Along that path, developing responsibility, taking note of accountability in your life. Let's take our time and go through these forms of guilt. Now I'd like to start with saying guilt starts when the heart and the soul diverge from the truth. When something occurs in your life that you feel that you should have or could have done in a different way. Developing what we know as regrets. Things that you feel that could have been better, that shouldn't have had to take place. That toxic necessity for the possibility of what could have been, how this could have been. Now, in this, what really it begins from is when we feel our sense of identity is compromised or value is compromised. It feels like the inner person has lost trust within themselves because this action or motive seems so diverged from the path of the true intention that you have for that moment, that action, that situation or event. I'd like to bring calmness in telling you that these things happen. However, they are not there to cloud and poison how you are on a regular basis, how you are in significant moments. Let them be there as now a lesson for us to take responsibility of this newfound awareness of this action or this feeling towards an action, taking accountability for that, and now becoming responsible with that awareness as we grow empathy towards ourselves. This is necessary for personal growth. It can be hard to have trust or hard to flow in life when you can't even trust in yourself. This derives from guilt, which in this episode I'd like to bring the necessity of forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. Forgiveness to this regret. Forgiveness for what feels like this lack of accountability when it came to a person, a situation, an event that created that source of regret for yourself, that made you feel that you are now incapable of trust because of that guilt that you share and burden yourself with. So you need to believe that forgiveness is the gift towards this regret, this what could have, this how could have, this desire for an explanation to something that has already gone by, for something that has already come, happened, and gone. Now is the time when I'd like you to take a moment and think about these moments, think about these possible actions that has made this strong sense of guilt, this strong sense of doubt because of that guilt. And remember, guilt has many forms. None is greater than the other or lesser. Guilt is a natural human emotion that you experience when regret gets time to take fruition. When regret because of an action, when unresolved forgiveness has not been applied. Now, Some examples of forms in guilt would be survivor's guilt, an increasingly hard situation that you felt that you survived, that stays with you. It can be in the form of trauma. There's parental guilt. There's guilt that you can feel due to this parental relationship. It can cause you to feel forced guilt, through which now you demean yourself, or the only way you feel any sense of forgiveness for yourself is through parental forgiveness, giving no way for your own forgiveness. You're solely dependent upon a parental figure or parental relationship for that forgiveness, for this guilt to fade away or to be resolved. And spiritual guilt has to do with a psychological approach. So, what we mean by spiritual guilt, you've denied yourself the creativity, the passions that you've had in life. You've denied the possibility that you are a sensual, emotionally intelligent being. This is part of yourself that must be given way to flow. In Zen traditions, we would bring this into something you'd hear me commonly refer to as a river. Think of a river. If there is obstacles in that river's path, what does it do? Does it hinder how the river flows? No. The water finds way no matter the form. Take the time and think about this. When we have this strong sense of guilt that has developed within us, it is worth your forgiveness. It is worth your accountability. And it deserves responsibility, because it can be something that directs you into your passion. It can actually be the thing that has hindered you from giving expression to your passion, from being creative in any aspect that you choose, be it a lifestyle, be it a hobby, be it a habit, whatever it is that you feel that you have neglected or put away on a shelf and then demean, because guilt doesn't mean just separation. This separation was then rewarded with this part, moment, person, thing. This emotion of guilt was not only separated from you, it was then put as something that you could never be forgiven from. And this stems from our own subconscious mindset of thinking that something can be perceivably unforgivable. This is not true. Forgiveness is available to you. Forgiveness is yours to have. Some practices that you can employ are meditation. If you're a person that practices meditation and mindfulness, this is a great way to help access all these moments of guilt that has stemmed within you. For the person who prefers a more hands-on approach, you can do a journal, or what we would call a gratitude journal. Practice putting appreciation into everything that you have done, be it big or small. Appreciate the accountability that you take on a daily basis, the level of responsibility that you accept and can handle on a daily basis. Another thing you can practice is self-reflection. Some people may practice self-reflection and assess these feelings of guilt, these moments that these emotions were given way to arise. And finally, for those who prefer the way of prayer through the interaction with themselves, this is a form of meditation as well, giving way to speak directly to yourself or with the help of a greater being. making it possible for forgiveness, as this is the focus upon healing the scar of guilt. We need to appreciate the journey that you've had. You need to appreciate the journey that you've had. And yes, doubt arises. Regret is a natural emotion that occurs in your life, that occurs on a daily basis. However, it is within your power to apply forgiveness after applying compassion. Oftentimes, we forget to apply compassion to these moments of guilt, which will then spring forth forgiveness. We always practice enforcing compassion after now bringing new realization to yourself. When realization comes, we apply compassion and then we forgive. Do not let it stay and corrupt your character. Though this may happen at times, though mistakes may happen at times, do not let them be the defining word, the defining character of who you are. Exploration, expansion, and growth is always a possibility, as long as there is compassion for yourself, which will then bring forgiveness. Sometimes we may crave forgiveness in external forms, in external manners. However, forgiveness is an emotion that is first understood from within. Remember, everything that you experience on a daily basis formulates its own experience when you are in it. For example, you may look at a page in a book. If you look at that page, what is the first word you see on that page? Now, if another person were to look at that same page, what word would they see? Sort of comparable to a word search. If 2 different people, 3 different people look at it, you will all notice different things at the same time. Think of this when you're approaching your guilt and when we season it with forgiveness after viewing it with compassion. View this moment. View that emotion that was triggered by that moment with compassion. And forgive yourself, because mistakes do not concrete your character. You define and manipulate your character every second in this reality through conscious action with mindfulness as you develop, be it on your personal journey or your spiritual journey. This is your Formless guide, signing off.